You're live.
If I had $10 billion, well, 6, 10, 20, I would spend that on building a world-class public transit infrastructure that would be second to none. And with the leftover dollars, I would take this piece of land across the corridor that's being proposed for this road, and I would spend some of those dollars in building a world-class destination for anybody that wants to engage with nature. How about that, Doug Ford?
Who would like to go next?
I can go next, actually. That's a great comment, Tony. And we're in a city that actually used that that method during 10 years ago when they looked to expand the urban boundary back when they're doing their official plan in 2010. And thankfully, Marilyn Iafrate seized on the opportunity and pushed to get a new GO station up at Kirby. So although there's an urban boundary expansion and sprawl, it's a different type of sprawl. So what she was able to do is actually provide more housing, connect to the transit, reducing traffic congestion of communities south of in the Kleinberg area. Obviously, the plan is still moving forward, but we've already done it in Vaughan, and I think that's a great way to look at how we can improve the city, improve traffic congestion, and build more housing for people.
Thank you.
Okay, I can go next if you want. I would say to Doug Ford, he's done such a great job building the Highway 427 up to Major Mackenzie. I can't imagine you could even consider even building a 413 with what a mess he made of the 427. Because from what I hear, it's not going to open up for at least another 2 years.
Anyone else?
I can go. There's so many things that I would want to spend this money on, but I think that I would want to spend it in transit and reinvesting in the built environment in our suburban communities to address all the issues we have that kind of drive mental health issues, they drive our public health issues, and even social inequalities as well. And I'd want to see just better built infrastructure that promotes active transportation, and even just being able to do your errands on foot. Right now, I can't go anywhere. I have to go in my car to drive to do anything. There's nothing really within walking distance except for a convenience store. And I would want to see in my community investment to address traffic congestion, which is probably the #1 complaint in Vaughan. And this highway will do nothing to alleviate that. And the other thing that comes to mind is Ajax needs a better water treatment plant. They have problems with algae blooms there. And, you know, this is a problem all over in Ontario, and it needs help as well there. So, I could keep going, but that's what came to mind.
You said it all. You said it really good. I'm just saying, why, of all the land to build on and to spend money on, why do they want to ruin the beautiful farmland agriculture that's in York Region? Like, we have one of the best in Ontario, and I think in Canada, and it's such a waste, Doug Ford, to pave over that, and the watersheds and the beautiful rivers.
I'd like to chime in. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Angela.
Everyone has said excellent comments. We need better affordable housing. That $10 billion could go to more affordable housing. It could go to transit. And I think everybody on this panel has made valid and great suggestions. Now I just hope Doug Ford listens and he follows through on those suggestions.
John, we're going to leave you for last because you always have some solid points to make. I just want to sort of point out, if all you have is a hammer, then every problem looks like a nail. And what we have is one solution to the problem of expansion, and it's always the same: urban sprawl, which just basically blankets everything with all the wrong things. And it doesn't change the paradigm. It maintains the prejudice that there's only one way to get something done. And so if we want to go into the future with a real future, we have to rethink everything, as we've been asked to rethink our lives, how we conduct ourselves over this last year and a bit. I think we need to be considering the future of future generations. How are they going to expand if we're going to continue to expand in a manner that doesn't deprive them of nature? And not only that, but doesn't deprive nature of its right to be here and integrate with us in a way that's symbiotic. And I think that's what's being demanded of the world, not just Vaughan, not just this region, but the entire world is looking and revisiting all the most important issues of sustainability. And what we've got right now is not sustainable. That's why they keep pushing the agenda forward. So we need some creative people involved. And there are people already available to us that are very creative. We already have solutions that are incredibly interesting. For instance, the Highway 407 that's already there, and the land that's adjacent to that, that would be a perfect application for a conduit or a highway that could add transport, rather than this dead end, a dead end highway at the 400 that's going to create congestion. That's just not even, it's not even, when you think of it, it's just, you wonder, did anybody actually think of it? So it sounds to me like this highway is more of an agenda to push the economics of the past forward, and what we need is a new economic model.
Absolutely. So I'll just add that, this is probably about as big a moment in history as you get. I think the whole world knows there's 8 billion people on the planet. The world works for about 300 to 500 million at the expense of the rest of the world. And there's 200 nations that are rising, 6.5, 7.5 billion people. And if they copy our example, then we're all in serious trouble. And so nature carries trillions of life forms because it's a reciprocal, localized, circular system. And ours is extractive, and it's the infinite growth model. And so it's not in line with nature, as you just mentioned. It's not in harmony, and what isn't can't last. And of course, we look to our policymakers to be able to set the tone on our behalf in order to create, as a friend of mine said, healthy continuity for people and planet for generations to come. And so this is a moment where our politicians, our elected representatives, our policymakers literally have a chance to get it right. And so looking backwards is going to be, bad for all of us. So this is the moment to do the right thing and to use their creativity and their courage to do the right thing, to lead as opposed to pander or for special interests, and set the foundation for future generations that we can all be proud of. So this is the moment in time, and they have to step up.
Irene, you had something that you wanted to add?
I just wanted to add that I'd really like to see some investment in agriculture. Our farmlands and our farmers have been neglected for so long, and they have not received proper investment. And we have this farming model that only supports these big, intensive cash crops, and there is so much more potential for what this land can be used. I don't know that a lot of people realize that particularly in Vaughan, this is some of the best farmland in Canada that the provincial government is proposing to put this highway on top of. And soil's a non-renewable resource. You can't remake it. It takes 100 years for the right physiological and natural conditions to exist to make it. So, we need some support for our agricultural industry, for local, for near urban agricultural, and I'd love to see that. Thank you.
Well, I think that's what we have to share. I want to just encourage all of you listening to this message to invite others to continue to support this cause. Join our Facebook page, Stop the 413, where you're probably watching this. But again, Facebook, Stop the 413. Help us get the word out. Continue to comment on this page. Share this information with people. We don't want to take our foot off the gas and give them any luxury or room to bulldoze their way over our sacred lands. So stay with this program, stay with us, and encourage others to join us. Thanks everybody for listening.